Da 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 da. Folks, I of course just want to tap in and start the episode. Just start the episode by saying thank you. Let me turn the microphone up a little, and that way I can kind of lean back a bit. Okay, so I've spent a little bit of time trying to just leapfrog off of last episode, which was combining the backend repo with the front end repo. So if we look on the left here, you can see this is all in one folder now. Instead of having, we had our backend and we had all that stuff exist in the backend, like all of our controllers, our database, and then we had a front end repo, which had our whole Next.js application. And I've been transferring everything over, but I've been running into a problem of getting the server up and running for, now the front end's been a problem, and the backend server was an issue as well. So I think I've been looking at it the wrong way. I was thinking of it too modular, where I was still thinking, okay, I need a Node Express server within my Next.js project. But I'm doing more diving into Next, and I think this is where TRPC kind of plays in. I think Next already includes API routing in it, so I think I've been thinking of it to just modular, like I said, like a front end repo, a back end repo, when realistically they're kind of all the same thing, or they can all exist in the same project, and there's no need for this like front end back end. Here's where we're at, by the way. I just wanted to pop this open too and say huge thank you. We've crushed through this last goal of 100 subscribers, and getting 2,000 views was the goal. And we are at 105 and 2.3 thousand. So we are just climbing. You can see how, I don't know what happened yesterday, but it just even more. It's just been absurd, guys. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, we just started this over here. On which day was this? August 2nd. And 20 days later, we are just like, it looks like a hockey stick. So I really appreciate it. We just smashed through another goal, literally of 100 subscribers and 2,000 views. So we're going to have to make another goal, right? But one goal, and I guess it's maybe time for me to be a little transparent. I was kind of embarrassed to say this, but with the Teachable course, two of my friends signed up initially, and another goal of mine was to have a third person sign up and just kind of get the course moving, so I can kind of obviously see that it's a tangible and real product and real thing and real value. Yesterday, and I don't know when this episode will come out, I'm a few days ahead and a few episodes in front of myself. But yesterday, as of today, I put out the React Learn Authentication Concepts. So that's just a little introduction into my Teachable course. I would love it if you guys could support me a little, because I do want to make this like a proper thing and something that is highly valuable. So the idea is $2 a day, and I want to distill and offload all of this real world experience and real world knowledge, no different than what we've been doing here, kind of in the long form content. This is just more refined, a little more curated, and a little more punctual, if you will, where, for instance, today's episode, mind you, that link is in the description, by the way, if you want to check that out. And if not, just a simple like and subscribe, of course, just keeping that bandwagon or that train moving forward. But sliding into today's kind of content, we are going to be doing some debugging and more boring stuff, I would say. And I know there's going to be questions potentially, or people saying, well, you had all this task figured out, you could track task. Why are you going through all these extra steps? And the reason I'm going through all these extra steps now, even though they're boring and they're pretty frustrating, is because I know the dividend play. I know the long-term play of making decisions like this, where if we're like, one of the decisions around this was updating our schema and generating all of our types from Prisma. And the reason for that is that's such a long-term play. That means that any additional things, so let's say episode 40, so 17 episodes from now or so, assuming we can kind of get this done within 1 episode or 2 episodes, it means literally we can long-term like shave off development time. I don't have to worry about the types. They're already going to be self-generated and the project's going to handle itself. So I think that's one plus. I think that's a huge pro, for making a decision like this. The other thing, the side thing that's happening is now we're going to be forced to explore Next.js a little bit more. And if we have a single repo, so the mono repo, and instead of having this like backend module and then this like front end module within the project, if it's all just one module, I bet when it comes to deployment and DevOps and these other things, it might be actually easier potentially. So I think there's going to be a lot of long-term plays coming out of here because we don't have to Dockerize 2 modules within one project, right? We can have all of our Docker files take care of this entire project and containerize it. And if we need to containerize other services, I'm sure it's completely doable. So I think from a dev experience as well, it's going to be this, instead of thinking of it like this 2-sided coin of like front end, back end, it's just like, oh, we just need to build the front end component that links up to this route and this route links to the database. I think that's going to be a lot of a smoother thing. And I think Next.js actually supports that a ton. So let me pop on some pop music real quick in the headphones, just a little something for me to listen to. And I'm going to get started into some boring just documentation. And I know that's probably not what people want to necessarily, I don't know, or do people want to watch the debugging? If you guys could maybe leave a comment on that stuff. Oh, I need to get it through the headphones. But if you can leave a comment on that, because there's a lot of like just handling and trying and having trial and error when getting this stuff over. And updating things and downloading new configurations and messing with config files and Webpack and all this other stuff. And a Babel RC file, all these tiny things that I'm just trying to make this work. But after coming to the realization, I'm thinking about it too modular, I'm thinking about it too separated, when really I think Next.js is designed to be this kind of single repo application where they've already have their routes within Next.js. So we're going to look into some Next.js docs real quick on API routes. As you can see, I kind of read them earlier a little bit. So basically, I want to just build endpoints within Next.js. So it looks like you build a pages directory and then you have this API, which is what I did here. And I was following this with the users, which is this right here. And I think that's why people invented TRPC, is because under this kind of paradigm of thinking, if you will, it makes a lot more sense. Because it's just like, here's all of my stuff right here. And there you go. I guess that would be the route ultimately. So we might have to do some debugging. We might have to start the application over and pull some stuff just directly over and just kind of on the fly rebuild it pretty quick, which wouldn't be a big deal. But I do think I might have messed something up with some of the files, with the, let's see, type module. Okay, so we have something with the package.json type module. Let's see, let's go back to type run dev. That was something I had added to see if that would work. Okay, looks like that might be working. I think so. Okay. So it looks like the front end is now working again, partially. We do have some configuration errors, but I do think the server's still working. Let's see. Base server.js. So we got server, and this is where our index file is. Let's see. we'll try one more time, run dev, and let's go ahead and see what we can do. So again, in a decision of this caliber, this magnitude, it's not to say it's not important. It is kind of potentially a mentally challenging episode. I will be honest. There's part of me was like, do I just figure all this out behind the scenes and just come to the next episode saying, hey, here's what I did, or do I just live record it and tell you guys as I'm doing it where my struggles are, where the challenges are, what I'm dealing with. And I thought that would probably be more fruitful, and hopefully we can figure it out. I think we will. So let's read some of these errors. Error undefined, error cannot find module. Here, boom, next fallback dot manifest build JSON. So I'm gonna try to npm run build. Let's get our next folder back, because I was deleting that, for instance, to clear the cache. Reconfiguring a webpack file. Like there's just tiny configurations and things I was trying to make it work the way I thought it should work, of being able to have a node server within a Next file. So then I brought the nodemon command here to say, okay, I can just start the server from here. But I think it's an environment issue, but it looks like our localhost is firing back up, which is awesome. Let's see if it does it. Index.js, come on, baby. But again, a decision of this magnitude is because I know it's tough right now, but it's going to push me again to think of this in a different paradigm, no different than learning Prisma or a new thing. It's forcing me to think of it in a different way, where maybe my way of thinking about it wasn't correct, of having the two modules, and it worked. Obviously, we can always go back to that or go to a previous commit. Not a problem at all, but I do want to push for something like this where if it's already built in, let's just use it, let's just use the dynamic routing, because then we don't have to have a routes folder we have to maintain. We just literally have it, in the project. So maybe that's a little bit of what we do, is start a new Next application. Let's try this. Let's do a test for the routing just to see what we can build real quick in Next, and do a little bit of a proof of concept. And then assuming it all goes well, we can slide over to the full-blown project. I probably should have done that before combining the two repos, but I'm not too concerned, because you can always go back to a previous commit. Let's see, latest, we definitely want TypeScript. It'll ask me all the other questions. What else do we want? Do we want a router? Do we want ESLint? Let's see. Yes, we do want that. Sure, we'll take Tailwind. SRC directory. No, that's okay. App router. No. Okay, cool. So here's our application, already just populated very quick. And we're going to have just our basic Next initialized application here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Let's try, boom. And guys, when implementing new technologies, I would always recommend doing something like this. Not sure why we're getting this type thing. But I would always recommend doing something like this where you do a POC. And again, I probably should have started with that, but I was pretty gung-ho on the idea, which sometimes you just got to let it rip and figure it out as you go. But if you're implementing new technologies, or like a new Docker thing, or a new whatever, and I'm not saying don't do it because you might mess up the project. Like, that's not a big deal. You could always go to a previous commit. Like I said, you could always start the project over and just import all the important files and components that you need and all that stuff, and routes and controllers. But more so you can implement it on a small scale. Like, if you can do Docker on a small scale, right? Or like some basic endpoint that just gets some JSON from the backend, then you can probably do it on a little bit of a larger scale. And then if you can't do it on a small scale, then you definitely cannot do it on a large scale, right? So that's the thinking behind that is, let's see, hello, we just want a basic plain application, P10, okay. So that's kind of my thought here is, if I can't get the routing figured out on a basic application like this, with the endpoints querying just random data from the backend or something, then I most definitely can't get it figured out with the full scale things. So let's ask chat. I started a new Next application with no src folder. How can I make endpoints? The app and query them on the front end. Something basic, please. Okay, so what I imagine is we're gonna have to do that pages directory. And let's see, we'll go not here, it's pages/API. We'll start there just with whatever the doc said, right? Maybe we can use this example even. Oh, didn't mean to do that. And we'll say users.js, pop that in. Okay, so we have it requesting JSON of name John Doe. So now if I go to the front end, if we can directly just query from the front end, that also can thin out our other application because then we may not need stores. We would, I guess, if we want to make the endpoints modular when calling them and updating them, but we might think of the paradigm of how we build pages just a little different if that's the case. So I'm really curious on how this all works because it's going to, oh, I see, get server-side props. Okay, so that's what it's saying. This is kind of what it's saying here to do. Export and get server-side props. But I don't know if I need to import that. Or get server-side props. Let's see. Boom. Okay. What's our error here? Data. Is this just a type error? Oh, we are using TypeScript. I was going to say, I didn't realize we were using TypeScript, but we literally are using TypeScript. So we'll just define that right here. Data can be any type. That's fine. And I imagine this will be void or actually React. What is it? FC, I believe. React FC, functional component. Okay. Or React node. Okay, cool. So that does that type. Get server-side props. Looks like we are having an error. It's not supported in the app directory. Oh, okay. Oh, let's see. This is saying make an index right here. My fault, guys. Okay. So we have our users route. Let's close out of this. Let's put this back to just the home static page. Hello. And should be up and running. And let's go to our index in the pages. I'm going to pop this in there. Okay, so this is our API call, right, to the API/hello. Looks like they named it hello.js, but we're going to use the users route. Let's try that one out. And I guess if we go to, let's test it out. If we say, you should see hello Next.js is what it's saying. Well, we see hello, but that's because we hard coded it in, right, to the page. So my idea is if we go to users, maybe it works. No. API/users. Let's see if that at least queries some JSON or something. No. Let's figure this out, guys. Let's figure this out. So I'm gonna crash the server, rerun it. Sometimes it just needs to redeliver stuff to the front end. Let's see. There we go, John Doe. So that is our endpoint. And then how would we query that on the front end? So we have an index here and then a page directory. Okay. So maybe what it's suggesting is, let's name this. Let's name this to user. How about that? Let's do that. So then we'll have our landing page, which will be this guy, the home page. And I think this will work then. Let me I guess crash the server, re-update it just to make sure we're all good and well. And I think if I go to user, it should maybe go to the user page right here, potentially. If that's so, then I do like this, how you can kind of just do it all as a one, and it looks like you can. That is beautiful. See, folks, it looks like I was thinking of, and not in a bad way, of the back end separate from the front end. And I think that's great to do, especially if you have teams, right? You guys work on the back end repo, we'll work on the front end repo, right? Or vice versa. But being that this is a mono repo, and even for a smaller team, I almost could imagine people could just pick out, like, you're working on this page, you're working on this page, and you can build it end to end now, because over here, right, we can build our components. We could say like base, let's try. So I guess I could say base header component, right? Oh, here, let me build a components directory, and let's just give it a tester go, right? Say function base header component. Maybe we'll have children, that's fine. And let's see, children, React.React node. And let's return this. And now we can style up kind of a header here. So this will be children. Let's just say class name. We can go div, class name with full. And we'll just say text center and py8, right? Just to give it a consistent header across the board. And maybe we'll say text gray. It'll be 700, right? And 3XL. So now we have a component that we can kind of realistically somewhat just dummy use right now. So I'll import base header from / components base header. And now we can wrap this, let's see, wrap our data here. Say data.name, it looks like, and it should just say John Doe, I think. Oh, Code with Mosh. Great guy. I learned so much from him. He has an amazing channel too. So if you haven't heard of him, please check him out too. He's very talented. So let's see. Might be some sort of client-side versus server-side components. So this might be a server-side API route. And if we're using a client-side component, it may not be liking that. So let's see. Element type is invalid, expected as string, but got undefined. Okay, so if we say, how about we just wait for it, right? Let's try one more time. Let's just get back to our data.name being rendered on screen. So we have John Doe. And under it, let's try base header. Okay, so it doesn't like the base header component. Oh, didn't even export it. Well, there you go. That'll definitely do. That'll definitely do it, folks. Okay, so we have our header. Looks like it's not importing. Or looks like it's not doing our, what's it called? Our CSS here. So let's try to, we'll go here. We'll say app, boom. See if that works. Export default. Oh, we had to do this with the other project, the real one, the config or something, where Oh, maybe it was here, pages, and we want all the app. No, but that's there too. What did we do in the actual project? The real deal. Let's see. Let's see. Tailwind config. We have our app dot slash slash. Oh, you know why? Oh, it did add a components. I was gonna say it's not components, but it looks like we have the same thing or a similar thing at least. So let's copy that in. Let's just see if that quickly changes something, if we miss something. But not overly concerned on the CSS, right? We could just dummy up a style sheet real quick. Even. Oh. And we do know we have the, the CSS configured in the other ones. So we could say font size, we'll say extra large, right? And we'll say color. I just wanted just a basic component so we can just kind of mess around with this data and see how it works, right? We'll say import, what is it? Styles and header.css, right? Forgot how to use CSS, you know what I mean? And then here, I believe we can just say header. Boom. Okay, so it worked. Great. Styles. And again, we can say width 100%. Text align, center. Should, oh, no. Need a colon there, not a semicolon. Boom. Okay, so we have our component and it looks like it's on this users page. And it looks like that's how we can fetch data from the front end is we don't even need to build this back end thing. We just need to build out responses. But I'm now more concerned on, let's see, data. So can I just return the data like this? Will that work? Get server-side props. Okay, you need to define the props. What if we just define the data? Interesting. No, okay, just breaking stuff, guys. Just trying to fill it out right now and see what we're dealing with. Okay, so, and let's also, I guess maybe add users or something. Just build like a button to add user. And the reason is I want to build a post route, right? Like some sort of post. And I'm looking at this and I'm questioning if TRPC is going to be the way we want to go for many reasons, right? Because I'm sure TRPC figured out a few things that I could probably benefit from. This seems a little bit long drawn. Let's see. Let's just see how it does. I just asked, can you make a post route for posting users? Maybe we could pull up the documentation here. So you can see that this is obviously going to be a little bit of a larger combination. I got 20% left on the battery, so I will wrap it up at 10%. But let's see. So we got users.js, function fetch. So I'm wondering how you do like this, basically like get, post, all of our functions there. So it looks like you still have some sort of export function handler. Or maybe I can only have one function per file, looks like. Don't know if these are controllers in that sense. So I need to rec.requested and then on inputs set name. Okay, so this is definitely an opportunity, I think, for TRPC, because it is doing this. Let's see, kind of this older way of fetching, right? Which I've done before. That's what we did at work a ton. But we've grown a little beyond just a normal fetch request in the JavaScript ecosystem. But maybe that is what we do here, and maybe I do need to look into TRPC for a bit and do a little research, a little more, to deliver you guys a good episode. But I do want to at least show the learning process and a little bit of the documentation. So it looks like TRPC looks like we have our pages, our API, and then we build a TRPC folder. Then we have our TRPC HTTP handler. And we need to build a router and a few other things. So it can get a little more convoluted here. Before diving into that, though, I do just want to get a basic post route going. So let's go for that. Let's see. Get is not defined. Oh, let's make it a fetch. Okay. Also, can we stash this within a page? Is this the thing? Just trying to break stuff, guys. See how it works, right? Kind of looks like it, but maybe not. So if we say import use effect, let's see. I'll pop use effect in right here. Put the dependency array and let's see if we can run this function, right? I'm not sure if that's like a Next.js built-in auto export thing where they can import the get server-side props function or something. Would kind of make sense. Let's see. Okay, so that obviously fixes it. Let's see, res.json. Okay, just JSON message. How can we post more messages? So if we go ahead and build a handler here, right? We can say messages.js, export default function, handler, rec res. Looks like you can have some middleware in there as well. So we could say res.json. Okay. And we could say message.hello pegs. So let's do that. And then I'll build message.js page. Export default. Let's see. Message page, right? Get rid of the base header, and this will just be data.message. And we need to go to the message endpoint. I believe messages endpoint. Okay. So boom. And I think that should be our endpoint for messages. So if we go to messages, let's try it out. Let's redeliver everything to the server. I feel like that should work, right? But I do need to get good at this then, because if our controllers basically are going to exist on the front end, or not the front end anymore, just the same framework that our front end is also on, then I need to understand how to do this really well, because that's obviously what we're going to be doing on res.jsos. It's not what we wrote. Oh, it is what we wrote. I swear the computer's wrong. I swear the computer's wrong. Hello, Pags. Perfect. Okay, so that's our API working. And then if we go to our message page, we should see that data populate here. Export default home page. Oh, export default home page. These just need to be named the same. They could be named anything in the world. Hello, Pags. Great. That's the interesting thing. I'm pretty sure they could be named anything in the world. So that's that. Okay. So we can build queries. Let's go ahead and try for that update route. How to post, right? See if we can find it in the docs pretty quick. So API post, is that a thing? Res.end post, or is this for posts? I think it's for a post thing, like a post, like post a new thing, right? Get a list of posts, right? But we actually want the post function, not a post as like a Twitter post, right? For example, boom, boom. Is it the create? Is that what it is? Create your own. Let's see. Create. Okay, there's the other 4. All right, looks like we are going to try to build this one right here. Maybe I'll say post users. Is that how we... API user.js. Normally you'd save this data into a database. Not a big deal. So I imagine connecting to Prisma will be relatively the same here. Just download Prisma client and wrap Prisma. Maybe we can also briefly do that. Yeah, why not? Why not? I might need to pop the thing off screen so I don't show you guys my environment variables. So, oops, open up the wrong project. Let's open up the task manager. And let's go ahead and make an environment. It's a bit of a demo on how to start Prisma, I guess. But you do need a what's it called? A URI from MongoDB. But that is, let's see, port, say 8080. Okay. Let's close that out. Boom. So you just need to make a .m environment file, and let's see, we need npm I Prisma. We need all of this stuff and Prisma client. We need both of them, I believe. And then we also need to initiate Prisma. So it's like npx Prisma, I think. So we go npm, let's copy it down, clipboard copy, boom, paste it in while it's downloading. Looks like it's taking a bit to download, and we'll go ahead and get Prisma client. Copy to clipboard, paste that in. Say npx Prisma. I believe it's npx Prisma init. Yes, it is. npx Prisma init. Just to start us off our file. Or not. Oh, I didn't have a space there. Gonna need that, so we should see a Prisma folder pop up here, right? Or not. npx Prisma, let's see. Maybe it's just that error. Prisma not found. Did we not just download it? Prisma client. How to install Prisma. But we need our MongoDB URI, or if you're using Postgres or SQL, MongoDB does it on their website, and you can actually get a free cluster from them. So that's not a problem to do. You can actually try it for free. I'm going to open MongoDB over here, and you get a free cluster, a free tier, so you can try it out. So npx Prisma init, npx Prisma init, boom. Let's see. There it goes. Okay, so boom, here's our Prisma. Here's our provider, and we can put our output folder up here, or our output directory, and we could say, here's our provider as well for the database. I'm going to use MongoDB. Database URL that should be already configured within a, within the environment. So what's the error we're getting here? Shouldn't be too much of an error. And let's close out the messages page. I'm getting MongoDB, ask me later. Let's open up our MongoDB. I'm going to close this out. Okay. So Prisma schema, let's build a schema, I guess, for the message or the user. Where was it? User post, API post users. Okay, so here we go. I probably want to say import Prisma client, right? From @Prisma client. Say const Prisma equals new Prisma client. We want to instantiate that. So now we have access to Prisma. And here we could say const, let's say new user equals Prisma dot, I have no idea. We need to now build, let's see, model user, say ID, that's fine. And I believe we need ID equals string. And we could say ID at map. Because we're using MongoDB, I think we do this underscore ID like this, something like this. And then we need db.object ID. I feel like I'm missing something. Let's bust open our other task manager project. Look at the Prisma schema real quick, just to, maybe it's auto is what it is. I forget. We'll go to Prisma. Let's see. So ID map. Okay, just like this. ID map, boom. Say ID, that's fine. And maybe we'll have a name. But altogether, it does look like this is roughly all working. So, so now we can run npx Prisma, and not init. This time we want to generate the contract. So now our Prisma client has access to these things. Say new user, and it'll be user. And we'll say create, boom, data. We do need to get all the stuff from the body though. So maybe we won't do user, but we'll say ID is Prisma.user.count, right? I think that's the function. +1, just so the ID goes up. And then the name will come from the rec.body. So we could say rec.body.name or destructured up top, either or. They both work. And then we need to send that user off to our response. So res.send new user. And I believe, assuming that goes well, we can pop in a status as well. So status 200, not 300, excuse me, 200. And boom. So we'll say user not created for the error case. It won't be 405. It'll be a 500. And I think this is roughly the structure of what we need, right? Now I don't know how to invoke this though from the front end. So let's run this. And I don't know how to send props either to this right now, but let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. So we can get server-side props. I wonder if there's a function to export async function. Is there post server-side props? Is that a thing? No, that would make sense though, right? So we have our message page. Let's go to our users page, or user page rather. And we just want to add user. So let's build a piece of state where we can import name. Hopefully we can use state on a client-side component, or a server-side component, excuse me. And use state. Guys, this is really going to be awesome though if we can get it figured out. I think we will. I think we ultimately will. Whether it's today or in my off time, I will get this figured out so we can use this properly and let's see. Looks like Tailwind's not instantiated here, so we're just going to ignore it for now. Let's see. You can see my logo and a few videos I've recorded. But okay, so let's get our value proper. Value is going to be name. We're going to figure this out, and it's going to be great because I think it's just going to streamline stuff. And I've wondered it too, like why, if you're capable of building, all these things, let's say you can build endpoints for posting, why is the front end just not posting? Or why is it not just a uniform thing like the back end and front end? Why are they like back end, front end? Why is it not just build something like front to back? Like if you need to post a user, you should be able to do it, right? So I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I feel like our trusty intern will know in 2 seconds how to do this. I'll say I have this Next.js component. I'll say page, in my pages directory. It's labeled user.js. Here is what it looks like. I want to post to the endpoint /API/user or post users. Boom. Here we go. So it's saying your add button needs a on-click handler, of course. But that's not the bigger question. We're trying to figure out how to handle post user, unless it is very similar, which this would be username string, right? Unless it is like one of those Axios things where you just literally do this, right? Which kind of would be easy. Let's see. Doing it the old classic way. Oh, could I just do Axios then for this too? It's telling me to do the fetch thing, to set the message and then send the message off. Which I don't want to do all that. Maybe we can just npm I Axios and types for Axios. Are we in TSX? Oh, that's what's giving me an error there. So we actually didn't need the types for Axios. Axios, boom. Because if that's the case, then I really do like this. If we can handle this all on the front end base, or not the front end, excuse me. I keep saying it like it's two different things now, but literally just all in the same one-stop shop place. That's pretty awesome. So let's go async. Guys, it's so hot here. It's 78 degrees in my apartment right now. Holy crap. With all this fire code, you know what I mean? Okay, so we'll go API / post users, and we'll give this as our payload name. Let's see if this works. Let's see. Say on click. My computer's slowing down, and my phone, I forget, it might be dying soon, guys. So let's hope this works, and then we can request error with 500. Let's see. Maybe I'll do the full route here with the HTTP localhost. So let's try that. Rerun the front end. Boom. Okay, guys, let's see. I hope it works. That would be so cool, because then all of our handling is just like done either within components, I'm thinking, or maybe we do still set up our stores like this. Request failed. Oh gosh, what happened? Let's see. Error network request. Component is changing an uncontrolled input to be controlled. This is likely changing because of boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's just copy and paste what ChatGPT had. And I'll look into it a little bit more. I'm just gonna pop this in here, guys. And let's see what chat error occurred, please. Okay, we'll refire it off because I'm afraid of my phone dying and I lose this file. It would not be very fun. Loading. Hello, Ryan. Loading. Okay, and we need to, let's see, maybe we're not doing this right. Post on the back end. Oh, and you know what? We're querying for users through here. We're not checking Prisma either. So let's import Prisma client, const Prisma equals new Prisma client. We'll instantiate it, and we can say const users equals await Prisma.user, right? I think that's what we called it, users. Prisma.user, and we can say find many. I think just an empty object like that, and boom. And if we send, if we go to users, if we send that to the front end, I think that's how we can do it. Async. Boom. Let's try. So there should be no users actually in this. Perfect. Okay. Loading. An error occurred. Oh, the phone said 10%, folks, but I think we have enough time. I think we do to make it happen. Okay, let's see what ChatGPT said to do. Boom. Let's see what it changed. Rec.body.name. If your ID is auto-generated, oh, it is because we defined that in our Prisma schema. Okay, let's see. And it just says a failed response. No big deal. Boom. Invalid name. FDA. Boom. ID string argument ID is missing. Let's see. Schema. Oh, I see. It's going to map the ID to this. So let's go back to our ID and we'll just hard code one in. How about that? Or I think our ID is a string rather. So it needs to be 1. Or how about date.now to string? So we don't have to keep updating the ID. Let's try that. Boom, loading. Let's see. User added successfully. So let's see if we can query now. We might need to update our component because we're fetching from here, res.json, when really we need to be fetching from, let's see, API post. Oh, I do not like all this extra code. That's why I like Axios. So I definitely need to get Axios figured out, and API users, it still should be fetching though, no? Unless it needs to be the res.data. Boom, type basic. Let's see, response.data. See what that looks like. Undefined, okay. So that's not what we want. We definitely want the response then. And let's see if there's anything here. And better yet, let's check the database. Boom, we did get into the database, so that is awesome. That is awesome, guys. So I think altogether, querying I'm not terribly worried about, right? Maybe I should be, but I'm not. I think this is all what I can manage and make it work, right? Let me dive into this a little bit more, but I do think this is going to be a fruitful, just like pit stop on the build where it's going to pay off in the long run, and I know it will. I know it will. I mean, maybe not define many. Let's see. User added successfully. Let's see. Boom. User added successfully. Let's query for the users. Maybe we could do a little try catch block. Boom. Try this. And res.status, we'll say 500. JSON error or users not found, right? Maybe plus the error. Okay, so let's see if that error pops up. I want to get the query and then I'll probably hop off because I think that's an appropriate time of like getting the concept, putting it to use, and I'll have to sit on it for a second, let it marinate, and then figure out how to approach this in the full build, because we did kind of have one structure built out, and I want to do this in the easiest way possible that's sensible, not a huge time sink, and maybe something I can do behind the scenes roughly quick. But I don't want to do all this stuff. I need Axios to work because it's just going to be quick. If we can just go like this, const res equals axios.get, and same thing here, pull this. And let me just, boom, right? Or even dot then, you can say this and console log the response. Let's see if that'll work. And that way when we get server-side props, boom, status 200. I saw it, status okay. So this is typically res.data. We're building, I thought that was going to be our users. Golly. Data is not defined if no data. Let's just get that out. Boom, there's our users right there. We could see them. There's one and there's two. So I wonder if I could set state in this server-side function. So maybe I can say, not import, const, users. Say set users. I have no idea if this is going to work, folks. I'm a little bit new to server-side props. As you can see, use state is a function in server-side props that is neither a React function component nor a React hook function. React components must start with an uppercase letter. Okay, so don't think you can do that in server-side props, unfortunately. But that does mean we can say, wait, do we need res.data? I forget. Sorry, guys. Boom, res.data. So we can say, boom, this data equals JSON, and we will just return res.data or not, and I'll put an error here for now, or not an error, a catch response with a console.error, just to, I guess, be a little bit proper. And there we go. We have our error response, and we can return the data now. Maybe we don't need to do res.json. Maybe we could just say res here, and instead of showing data.name, we can just say response.name. Let's see, folks. It's kind of flying off the rails here, you know what I mean? So that is what our response should look like. Let's try something different then. Data and say const data equals await res.json. We'll try that. Res.json is not a function. Interesting. Looks like our app is back. Did we break it again? We did. Okay. I really just don't know why this wouldn't work, or if we need to do one of these. Return the response data. See if that works. Let's see. We'll just ask ChatGPT real quick. Can you fix this? Get server-side props, and I need to get my phone not recording, because after 10% it does kind of go quick. So I just want to get this very, very, very quick. And then we will pop off. So guys, thank you so much for watching and yeah, and just helping me grow this thing. This is a huge blessing. And the more it's growing, the more I'm learning, and the more I'm trying to be humble and just try to do the next steps, you know. So let's see. Boom. Loading, updated successfully. Folks, I am not sure why we are, let's see, data dot null. We don't want that. We want to return data. Let's see if that works. No, not working. Okay, interesting. Data dot name. Return oh, that's for the error case. Oops. Return props dot data. And how about we console log res.data, or excuse me, the data. I feel like it should still be there. Boom. So there's all of our users. We're doing the props here. And data is here. So, oh, almost did. Mustache syntax. Data.name. Interesting. Oh, you know why? Because it's fetching something. And this is already there. The template's already there. And it's fetching, and it takes, you know, a half second to fetch, but this is already getting mounted. So I need to do something about that. Return props.data. I think, okay, we need to await. Yes, we do need to await something. Trying to think, guys. I'm trying to think. So how can we just still, can I just pop this all? Const get users. Is this the thing? Because that would be pretty awesome, right? If I could say const, we'll say users here. Set users, boom. Use state, don't want false. We just want to set the users to the data. And then render the users on screen. So we can say users. Oh, you know what? And I wonder if I needed to map is why. I don't know, guys. Just kind of throwing stuff right now pretty quick against the wall. So maybe the users are working. And this data.name needs to actually be data.map because it's a user, and then the user needs to be user.name, right? Potentially. Let's see, users.map. Let's try. Oh, there's some users. So I think that was the problem. And I do think this way would work too. So let's invoke this function into the code block. But it did work, guys. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Freaking learning, you know what I mean? Learning. So use effect here. Guys, I'm gonna pop off though here shortly. I know I've said it like 4 times. But let's see if this works too. See if we get 2 batches of users. There's 2 ways to skin the cat. Nope, looks like just one. Cannot read properties of map of users. What about this? Boom. Looks like we have both ways. Folks, we are skinning some cats. We are skinning some cats. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And this was a fruitful lesson for me to learn a lot of these things and kind of put them to use. And I'm stoked. Our new username, Stokered. Let's see if it auto updates. Oh, after the post, we would then need to get users. If response dot okay, boom. Technically is how that would have to go. Stokered. You can see him there. And new user here. Boom. So it should pop up. Boom. New user. Folks. We just learned a new way how to do this all within one application or one framework. So I'm very, very, very excited to do some homework on my end. Yeah, stay tuned. Next episode should hopefully, this should be the soil for a good episode. So thank you so much. Please continue supporting me. I'm very, very, very grateful. Thank you guys. So again, that teachable course is probably going to be the number one way I can be supported. And if not, hopefully this is good knowledge. Hopefully this is showing you just, hey, tackle new tech. Just try out new things and see how it goes. Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Cheers, guys.